Mingei International Museums has a collection that reflects cultures around the world. The Creative City Heights project, it's an 18-month-long community engagement initiative. It was designed to be centered around the City Heights neighborhood, that it's only a couple of miles away from Balboa Park. And it was developed in partnership with 4 different organizations in City Heights. The Grand Organization of San Diego has a women's program and a senior program, and in both of them they have expert weavers. We were able to work on making 3 different outfits from the Karen culture.
You know, it's a different process because we live in here, so it's harder to distinguish where they came from and how they make it, because like she said, when they live in Thailand, they will grow their old tree for a cotton tree, and they will make it by themselves, so they can tell which one is which. So the long dress is for girls who haven't get married yet, so they will have to wear like a long dress, a long white dress. And that one is for the men. Doesn't matter if they are married or not, they can wear that. So it's like the first part is the shirt, and the second part, usually people think that is a skirt, but it's for a man.
Karen is one of a small minority group from Burma, but they've been persecuted by military government in Burma for a long time, and then they've been in refugee camps. Some of them are maybe in for 20 years, some of them been there for 30 years. In 2007, when the small number of population started to come, they didn't have any good support here to start their new life.
When I City have we more, but Plata when I get a cake, Pocagno, a rumor, a Pocagno at the world, maybe the Mamani Toto, she, Yanni, maybe the Plata. Any Pamataco, but the Dagru, the Paimo, again.
As the generation pass on, things change. As you can see, our days is when we are married, I'm single. Okay, so when we leave, we have to pull it hard. So what we need is a weight. Here, when we start weaving, there will be someone who has to sit here. Yes, it's really hard, right? Because in Thailand, we don't need anyone but yourself to weave. But here, we have to ask one of our youth to sit here, so that way we can show you the process.
Because of this space that they are encouraged to do better at school, at work, in the community, and we've been seeing a lot of huge impact in those areas, so that we try our best to keep this culture alive.
Mo Tony Guada, Bahama Luni, Lubade, Bahama Lu, Lupade, brother, Pessia, which are Manikila with Belly, Belly, Charlie, brother, Jaw, crew of a boo, who built this Atlantic. The no Lord Pamasia, brother, be here, Matthew.
If you look at any culture, whatever they're wearing, it identifies immediately who they are, what group they belong to, what village they belong to. So it has a really important cultural aspect. I think it's as important as the language itself. So to keep that alive, I think, is really crucial.
Yeah. It's like a handmade. A stone. It's very nice.
With the Aja project, we are working through their photography program with Fama Musa, a Somalian refugee, who was able to pick 4 objects from the museum collection, and using those objects and the cultures they represent, and she was able to go to people's businesses and homes to tell a story about their lives.
I thought it would be an interesting thing to get it from the source, so like how they use it in their culture, because it belongs to them and it's a chance to tell their own stories. I thought it would be interesting to give them like a platform to talk about their culture.
Right now you go to San Diego Zoo, they sell them over there. This one, I didn't even know I have 2 left. This is made out of newspaper. And the women in the villages in Uganda are the one making them. Yeah, and a lot of people make fortune out of this. You know, it's called acholi beads. It's very unique.
Photography speaks to me. I got interested because I wanted to tell my story, but I didn't speak English. It was an outlet for me.
The Aja Project is a nonprofit organization located in the heart of City Heights. We teach participatory photography, giving the youth that we work with and the communities that we work with the power to self-represent and define their own stories and who they are. These types of collaborations are definitely important to us because they provide our youth with platforms for them to continue to be able to be advocates for themselves and for their communities outside of City Heights.
With PANA, we were able to work through their spoken word program. We worked with refugees and participants from different cultures that were able to pick an object from the museum's collection and write a story inspired by those objects about their personal journeys and how they came to San Diego.
As African Americans, our ancestry is a needle in a haystack of hearsay, of speculation, of DNA test results we cling our hopes to. We search for our homelands in scrapbooks made of sand and soil that our feet may never touch.
Over in Africa, the masks were a part of who you were. It was a part of bringing people together. It was a part of culture. And so much of that has been removed from us. So it's like, oh, okay, it makes sense that you want us to remove our masks so we can forget who we are and assimilate into what we're expected to be here. So using this poem to kind of just say, you know what, I want to put my mask back on. I want to find that part of myself, put it back on, and claim that identity as my own instead of, giving it away.
The object that I chose from the Mingei Museum is called the protective figure. And it is actually a figure from the Nigerian region of Africa. It's pretty much a 7-inch figurine in the shape of a bird. Birds represent the mystical power of women and creation. I think it's ironic that a bird representing the mystical power of women is called the protective figure, and Black women are the most unprotected in most of our societies. It is universally known that small talk is one of the easiest ways to fill in spaces. Dream jobs, new cars, and weekend plans suddenly become important topics of interest in the midst of silent thoughts. Some feel small talk is meaningless. Others feel it is a necessary distraction in awkward situations. I hate small talk. But while I am sitting in the break room of my workplace minding my own business, my coworker feels the need to talk about something. She feels uncomfortable in the quiet, feels the need to fill the air with her white noise. She brings up the weather, drags the son into the room without his permission, attempts to drag my voice in too. She keeps her conversation light, does not ask me about death or how it feels to keep evading it, how it feels to still be a breathing brown shadow. She mentions flowers, but does not speak about the blood that waters them. She mentions trees, but does not ask if they are still being used as weapons somewhere. The poem is pretty much kind of highlighting how we are always fed Black death and just stories and videos, and we indulge in it so much that it's almost like we've become accustomed to it and we expect it, and then we don't do anything about it because we're desensitized in a way. I guess it's more of a conversation starter, not really giving any answers, because I don't pretend to have all the answers, but at least that we can talk about it and see why that is or what we can do to improve upon that mindset.
We're a refugee-led organization that's trying to lift up the voice, visibility, and impact of refugees in San Diego County through leadership development, through civic engagement, through policy change, and through the mobilization of our communities to really engage with decision makers. Often we rely a lot on data and facts, but it's really the stories of people. It's really understanding how people are experiencing life in San Diego, being able to humanize, right? The numbers is how we've been able to change folks' attitudes around what our priorities should be. That's the power of storytelling.
Remembrance of peace, a practice to perfect, you see. Pause, take a moment to breathe. Pause, take a moment to believe. Pause, take a moment, and you'll see.
With Media Arts Center San Diego, we were working through their film program that focuses on working with emerging filmmakers locally here in San Diego that documented the whole Creative City Heights project, how we worked with all 4 organizations in City Heights and how we connected the mission of the museum to the mission of all these organizations, finding that diverse common ground to tell a story.
From this project, I learned pre-production, production, as well as a little bit of editing, and more than just the technical side, I also learned a lot about the community and the different groups within City Heights. I also learned about a lot of spoken word artists and photographers that have come through Aja Project, and I'm definitely going to keep posted on their work.
The Media Arts Center San Diego started 25 years ago with the San Diego Latino Film Festival, and since then we created a nonprofit organization that works to educate youth, and we help them learn technology skills, educational skills, but they also learn video production skills, where they then create videos about their community, and these videos are then shown to policymakers and different community members that hopefully actively change things in their neighborhoods and provide a better life for their families and their fellow students.
We think it's important, as much as possible, within our own resources to continue to reach out to the rich diversity of cultures here in San Diego and make connections between our collections and our exhibitions and these living cultures here today.
Having such a collection that is so relatable, it really opens up all kinds of opportunities of conversation, of learning, of working together with all the different communities in San Diego.